Hi everybody, Chris Stokes from Custom Fitness Personal Training Studio here in Amarillo, where we customize plans for each of our clients to make sure that they have the right exercises, the right nutrition, the right lifestyle modifications to meet their needs. So, losing weight. Could I get a definition, please? Everybody who wants to lose weight has a different definition of what that means to them. And really what that comes down to is your why. We've talked about that before, that in order to have your motivation, you've got to have a why of why you're doing it. And as people come into me and I say, why do you want to do this? They say to lose weight. Well, as we go a little deeper, it may go beyond losing weight. It may be able to spend time with their family or their kids or their grandkids. It may be able to be better at work or be able to just feel better. So losing weight has many different definitions, but that scale still owns us. We still step on that scale every day, it seems like, and we do so just to get mad because you know that it's going to change, especially if you're a female. Men fluctuate a little bit less throughout the day, but female typically fluctuate between 5 to 10 pounds every day. And so if we're stepping on the scale, it's in hopes that it's going to say what we want it to say. Maybe that's that college weight or that weight that you were when you got married or the weight that you were back in high school or whatever it may be. The fact is that that scale may never read that number, and that's actually okay because you can look better than where you were at then, even if that scale says a different number than what you expect it to. And the reason for that is because we aren't looking at the right way of losing weight. So we've kind of created this idea as a society that everyone needs to lose weight, and that in order to be healthy, you've got to lose weight. Well, the fact of the matter is you don't have to lose weight because you could cut off an arm and lose weight, but you've got to lose the excess fat that we have. And if you don't lose that excess fat, then that's what's going to cause a risk to your health. It can be an increase in cardiovascular disease, in stroke or diabetes. It raises your risk of health issues. And so it's not about the weight per se as much as it is about the body composition. How much of the body is muscle? How much of the body is fat? How much of the body is healthy fat, and how much of it is water, your hydration level. So depending on when you've drank your last cup of water or your last drink, depends, it's going to make the scale vary slightly. So if you haven't had anything since the night before, yes, you're going to weigh less in the morning because it's like a dried out sponge. All those cells have kind of shriveled up and shrunk because you haven't fed them food or water in that time. You start to feed yourself, they start to expand, and then after time they use that water and they start to shrivel up and shrink again if you haven't been providing the right nutrition to them or the right hydration to them. So we have to realize that our cells are living beings, and I actually saw that really through a cool experiment that I did with my kids the other day, and we got to watch it, and it was so neat getting to watch their eyes as we got to see what was happening. And we did this with kefir grains, with water kefir grains, and they came in. They looked like little teeny tiny miniature flax seeds. They were little tiny. They were dehydrated. They they fit in the palm of my hand. It was so small. We put them in the water. We mixed in, you've got to mix some sugar in there for the kefir grains, which are a good form of bacteria basically to eat the sugar, and then they create probiotics. So basically we were making probiotic water, but we were doing that through a fermentation process. And so as we're doing this fermentation experiment, you've got to leave them in this water for about 2 days. And over that time, what started out as something that would fit, in the palm of my hand, ended up growing in that jar to where it was about this tall and about, a jar about this big around. It's like a 16-ounce jar. And it grew up to where it was about a quarter of the jar, really. And it was quite amazing to watch. And they got to see how things expanded because they were eating and being hydrated. Sounds familiar, right? So if you're eating and hydrating, things expand, and that's an okay thing. We don't need to panic. So back to our original question about the weight. So I do want to tell you today that you do have fat. Everyone has fat. There are essential forms of fat that we have to have. Your brain is made up of a lot of fat. Your insulation for your body is fat. We have to have a small amount of fat within the body. We don't have to have this amount of excess that most people are carrying around these days. And if that's you, that's not a problem. So I'm going to tell you the same thing that I tell my children and I tell all my clients. You have fat, but you are not fat. You are not your fingernails, but you have fingernails, right? So that doesn't make you a fingernail. But for some reason, we start to name ourselves as these things. And then we get more obsessed with the weight. Then we get more frustrated with the weight because it's not changing. And then we go back to naming ourselves again. And all that does is lead to a bad mental state where you really can't escape this constant circle that you're running around. And instead, if you start to consider the fact that weight doesn't matter as much as what we want to believe that it does, and that body composition matters more, then we can start to make a plan of attack. So if our body composition is what matters, then what do we do to get rid of that excess fat that's raising our disease risk? Well, we start to exercise to build our muscle mass, which is going to make us weigh more possibly, or even just to keep our weight the same, because muscle is more dense than fat. Fat does not turn into muscle. Muscle doesn't turn into fat. Muscle does not weigh more than fat. 1 pound of each weighs a pound. But muscle is more dense, more firm than fat, and fat is more fluffy and takes up more space. So if we can lose that excess fat through our exercise and through balancing our nutritional habits, rather than going on all these crazy roller coasters, up and down, 6-week program, 3-week program, whatever it may be, shake diet here and pill diet there, what we're going to do is find a lifestyle change that works for us to create a pattern of consistent nutrition and exercise that's going to help our bodies to reinvent their best selves. That's really what it comes down to. It sounds complicated, right? It's actually not. But that doesn't mean that you have to do it yourself either, because they want you to believe, you kind of got two ends of the spectrum. You've got half the people who want you to believe that it's so complicated that you can't do anything on your own, and they actually use that to their benefit, because then they sell you all this stuff so that way then you're going to buy all these different things and none of it's going to work. The other side makes it so simplified. The apps and stuff to work out with, and the recipes coming to your inbox and things like that, and those can be helpful, but they're not your full solution, because more often than not I hear, I have 6 different apps on my phone to work out with and I don't use any of them. Or I've got these subscriptions to these online workout modules and I don't use them. I have a subscription to a gym and I don't use it. Those are things that I hear every day from clients. So we work through where they're wasting their money on things, where they're wasting their time on things, and what could be done to improve their lifestyle modification so that they can then center their action plan around changing their lifestyle in a way that fits them to make these things happen. So that not only gets them to the results, but it takes them beyond their results, so that way they can maintain them for a lifetime. And I'm serious whenever I say that. Most of our clients have a lifetime with us, typically anywhere from 3 to 5 years. We've had some clients as long as 17 years, and we've had some clients that just started today or yesterday. So we've got clients all along the path, but as they come through our programs, they find that they have the knowledge then to be able to continue what they're doing and be able to make great choices. Does that mean that they always have the accountability they need? Not on their own always. Sometimes that's what we're here for. So if you want more help with creating an action plan that you can actually start to see results with quicker, that's what we're here for. We have an entire team dedicated to this as professionals to help you. So feel free to give us a call, 806-322-3188. We've got a couple different specials bouncing around on Facebook right now, so feel free to let us know that you saw one of those and we'll be happy to honor that. But our biggest thing is we want you to not wait until January. We want you to get in now so that you get a head start on it, so that you don't let your health go one more day by the wayside, but you start to take action on taking care of you today. And like I said, we've got several different ways that we can do that, from our private training to our small group training to our semi-private training. We've got lots of different options. We even do just nutrition counseling for some people. If they've got a solid exercise routine and they feel good with that, we can start there. So if any of those sound good to you, feel free to give me a call, 806-322-3188. We want to help you to get fit before 2018. We'll talk to you soon.